In the next few minutes, I'll break down exactly how to train for body recomp, burning fat and building muscle at the same time. I'll include training splits, key exercises to include, cardio, and also how to recover fast. Be sure to stick around right to the end as I explain how the training plan progresses from week 1 exercises to week 6 exercises. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe so I'll continue to provide you guys with great content. So let's get into week 1 training split. Now I want you to base your workouts around compound training to start off with. Compound workouts have the best bang for your buck to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. This is because compound training, number one, recruits the most amount of muscle groups within a single exercise. So let's start off with the weekly training split. Now I'd recommend 4 times a week, no more than that and no less than that. Because remember that you do need to recover. Remember, recovery is as important as the physical training sessions. So the training split, I personally would recommend Monday would be leg day. Now, I'd recommend starting on leg day because it's the legs are the biggest muscle groups within the body. So I'd recommend low body pull. That would be a deadlift to start off with. Deadlift, we know it's the most taxing exercise that you can physically do. So you want to start off on a Monday when you're fresh. Now, the first exercise that I mentioned would be a deadlift. Keep the reps around 6 to 8. This is a sweet spot for a deadlift, I find, particularly when you're just starting a body recomp phase. Now, you can use different variations of a deadlift. I personally would recommend, if you're just starting out with a body recomp phase, to use a trap bar deadlift. Trap bar deadlifts are easier for you to hold because they place less tension around your upper back and more tension around your glutes. So a trap bar deadlift would be the best to start off with. Then you can progress later on with a barbell deadlift, which we'll get into. So you'll then move on to some compound hamstring exercise. That would be a Romanian dumbbell deadlift. And now this Romanian dumbbell deadlift, and I recommend dumbbell because, again, like I mentioned before, I don't want to integrate barbell deadlifting just yet. So a dumbbell would be a great exercise for you to start off with because it really creates tension through the hamstrings and it's just easy for you to start off with. We then move on to a compound glute exercise. So I'd recommend a plate-loaded glute bridge. Again, this is one of my favorites because it allows you to strengthen your glutes. The rep ranges for the DL and the glute bridge would be between 8 to 10. So within the first, I'd say, couple of weeks, we're keeping the rep range fairly high. So if you're one to not really know how many reps to do, as a rule of thumb, keep the rep range quite high in the first couple of weeks. And what this is going to do, it's going to allow you to keep the weight slightly on the lower side. Because if you're just starting out or you're intermediate, you don't want to be going in too hard with lifting too heavy right at the beginning of your recomp phase. You want to build up to that. So you'll start off with slightly higher reps. And as we get into the recomp phase, I'll explain further how we adjust the reps. So you then move on to some isolation hamstring exercises, such as a seated leg curl or line leg curl. And with that, you're going to keep the reps around 10 to 12. So after you've done the hamstrings, you're then going to move on to a glute extension. So once you've done your glute work, you are pretty much done with your low body pull session. That should take you around 45 minutes. And then you'll have 15 or 20 minutes to do some cardio, which I'd highly recommend bolting onto every one of your workouts. Steady state cardio, moderate intensity, keeping your heart rate around that 120, 130 BPM. And this is the optimal zone 2 cardio for fat burning. Day 2 would be upper body push session, which would include chest, triceps, and some shoulders. Now, chest, we're going to start off with a dumbbell press. The reps would be around 6 to 8 on this one. Then you move on to an incline, whether that's Smith press or dumbbell. I'd probably recommend a Smith. You then move on to a plate-loaded chest press, and the reps around 10 on that. And then you finish off with some cable or machine flies, 10 or 12 reps. That's the chest done. You then, from there, move on to some shoulders, which would be a dumbbell shoulder press, dumbbell lateral raise, and possibly some cable lateral raises. Then you move on to triceps, and that would include tricep extensions from flat, around 10 reps, cable tricep extension. So there you have 2 exercises, and even a tricep dip as well. So 3 exercises on triceps. So there you have session 2, upper body push session. Day 3, so you probably have a rest day in between that. So you'd say you train Monday, Tuesday, and have Wednesday off. You then get back in the gym on Thursday, and this would be an upper body pull session. So this would include starting off with your lats, biggest muscle groups in your back, plate loaded pull down or machine pull up. Now I'd highly recommend as well integrating rows from cable, dumbbell or Smith row. The rep ranges on back would be between 6 and 12. You'd then do biceps with that, which would include dumbbells, cable bicep curls, EZ bicep curls, reps between 10 and 12. Day 4, Friday, would be a lower body push session and some core. Now with low body push, you start on a dumbbell or barbell back squat. I probably would recommend dumbbell to start off with if you're just working out. Starting off with, if you're intermediate, I'd probably recommend a barbell back squat. Keep the reps around 6 to 8. And if you have, from there, you move on to hack squat or leg press. I'd probably prefer a hack squat, 8 to 12 reps on this one. From there, moving on to a leg extension, either unilateral, which is single leg, or bilateral, both legs. Now, you'd finish off with some core. So core, you do some crunches, you do some lying leg raises, hanging leg raises. You're going to keep the reps around 10 to 12 on that one. So that's week 1 to 3 training split. You wouldn't change anything, you'd keep it exactly the same. So let's get into the next phase, weeks 3 to 6. So the general exercise base that you had in the first 3 weeks is going to be the same. Minimal changes. For example, the change you would make would be your trap bar deadlift to barbell deadlift, dumbbell bench press to barbell bench press, plate loaded pull down to chin ups. So there's a few small progressions there that you're making. Rep wise, they're going to be coming down slightly. So for example, in the first 3 weeks, reps were slightly higher, up towards those 10, 12 reps. Weeks 3 to 6, the reps are coming down. So Monday's low body pull session, the reps will be a couple of reps less. So for example, your deadlift, instead of 6 will be 4. Instead of your glute bridges will be 8, will be 6. So the main reason you're keeping the majority of your exercises the same is you want to keep working on your technique. The last thing you want to do is build your technique, your awareness, and then have to completely change your workout plan. So keep the exercises the same and just make minimal changes, like I mentioned. You can also incorporate more high intensity cardio. So HIIT training, sprints, whether that's on the treadmill or outdoors. But this is going to take your cardio to a slight higher level. But what you may find is you're able to now go to failure, which is pushing a bit harder for more reps. When you get to the end of your sets, you may be able to have more strength to lift heavier. So the weight that you're lifting is going up. You may be able to recover faster. So you're reducing the rest time down slightly. So these all will push your intensity up, and you might find yourself getting stronger and then therefore building muscle and losing fat quicker, because those intensity techniques and the way that you're pushing yourself is now increasing. So there you have 6 weeks training plan, split, exercise, progressions, cardio. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please comment, like or share. Or if you've got any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And I wish you all the best of luck with your body recomp phase. Hope it all works out for you. Have a great day and bye for now.